So, good morning and or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Janice Williamson, and I'm going to do a chair yoga class this morning. I'm just recovering from flu, so I'm a bit stuffed up and will require some um, liquid during the class, I think. So, my interest is in having us uh, focus on focus today. I find it important to uh, maintain a regular practice, and I haven't been able to do that for the last while. So I'm going to um, read a little bit from uh, this, the Path of the Yoga Sutras, Abhyasa. I think that's probably mispronounced. Um, and it is the practice, the effort to fix one's own self in a given attitude is one of the translations of it. But it also can mean diligent focused practice. Now I'm sitting on my chair here. I'm going to sit halfway forward. I'm not sitting actually at the back of the chair because we tend to slouch back. So I'm just sitting a little bit off the back of the chair, and I'm really going to sit here for a moment, just get things focused. Now, if for some reason your feet uh, you've got shorter legs than the chairs, you can use blocks to raise your legs up here. And this ideally this should be right angle. And also, if you are very tall and very long legs, you might want to build up your chair. So ideally, you have this right angle here. And the reason I'm focusing on this is I want us to really get a sense of being grounded here. And being grounded means we can lean forward and we can lean back. We can lean forward, we can lean back, we can tip our tailbone back and forth. And then we can just maybe rotate a little bit around our tailbone and see if we can find that space that feels like we're centered on our sit bones, which are the two bony bits that stick out at the bottom of us. And so we want to regulate our lower spine that way at our pelvis. And then we want to make sure that we're not sitting with our ribs sticking out here. So we want to draw our ribs in. Not too much, we're not hunched over, but we draw them in so that they are not not pushing forward. And here and now we're going to take imagine we can even touch our collarbone, and we're going to feel as though we have our collarbone is looking up towards that upper corner of the room. So we really have a sense of that movement upwards. And we also have a sense that our chin is moving back a little bit. So this is a lot to focus on, but if we keep repeating these things, our body will find a good pattern. And I'm imagining that there is a very kindly puppeteer who's pulling a string from the tip top of my crown chakra on the top of my head, and I'm really ascending up. And while I'm ascending up from the waist up, the bottom of my body, like my sit bones, are really feeling heavy on the chair. And my feet are pressing into the ground. I can lift my toes up, and then I can spread my toes and press my toe mounds and my heels into the ground. So we're really feeling a lovely sense of ease in this posture. And we should feel that our spine is it's not straight because we have natural curves in the spine, but that our natural curves are moving with a certain energy. So the bottom half of our body is really grounding, is quite heavy, and the bottom half, the top half of our body is light. And we're feeling lightheaded without being dizzy. We're feeling that sense of really just being open for what comes. And we're inhaling here, and then we're exhaling. And we're inhaling, and we're exhaling. Inhaling, exhaling. Now, over the course, I want you just to continue with your inhalations and exhalations. And I want us to remind ourselves that our hands are loose beside us, and our shoulder blades are drawing down our back so that we have a sense of an open chest. And with our breath coming easily, and we're breathing, inhaling through our nose and then exhaling through our nose, we are able to regulate our breath. And with that, we can help us focus our concentration. Now, if during the course of the class, you find yourself drifting off, thinking about what you've got to do, or worries that you have from yesterday, or what you imagine might happen tomorrow, I want you just to imagine your thoughts as clouds in a sky, in a beautiful blue sky. And as these thoughts come to mind, you can imagine them as a cloud that's moving across your skyscape. And one might drift in, you might be concentrating on what you're going to do tomorrow, and suddenly you can just let it go. That's your choice, right? You can decide just to let it go and return to the present moment. And the present moment is really sensing that sense of being your body, heavy in the bottom, so that you're pressing into your feet, and you can feel your arches lift up, your toes lift up as your feet press down, and you are feeling a sense of lightness in your upper body as you inhale and you exhale. We're going to enhance that sense of being present now with a little hum. And this is a special yogic breath. And it's simply you inhale and you exhale and hum. Mm. And you inhale and exhale and hum. Mm. And now we'll just return to our regular breath. Now, what this bee breath does is it actually makes your body into an instrument, and we become like a string plucked. We vibrate, and the vibrations themselves can be very beneficial. We're just inhaling and exhaling, and we'll take 2 more of those bee breaths after the next inhalation. So we're inhaling, and then exhale with your mouth closed and hum. And inhale and hum. Inhale and exhale. Good. Now we have arrived in class. We should feel a sense of relaxation, and we all should feel a little bit of centeredness. We may feel, if we do feel a bit lightheaded, you can at any moment, if you feel lightheaded, just lean forward and drop your head a little bit. Some people can't lower their head below their heart. So in that case, you can just sit quietly and just breathe easily. And then you can re-enter the class at any moment. All right. So I'll just read a text about breathing. And this is from the Radiant Sutras, 112 Gateways to the Yoga of Wonder and Delight. So this is intended to help us get a sense of the drishti of a focus. The drishti is that focal point we can develop in yoga. So here it is. This is number 37 of the Radiant Sutras. Go to a wide open space. Gaze without looking anywhere. The mind stops its building of thoughts and rests on its own foundation, immensity. The light that you see by is the light that comes from inside. I love that. The light that you see by is the light that comes from inside. So go to a wide open space, gaze without looking anywhere. So that seems to be an ideal. The ability to, we close our eyes, the ability to imagine ourselves in a meadow surrounded by trees, circled by trees. And when we open our eyes, we're looking, but we can imagine we can see in front of us, beside us, behind us, all around us, everywhere and anywhere. So we're allowing us to imagine that we can develop a gaze from our eyes that is beyond what we can usually see. And I think yoga affords us all kinds of possibilities. That is, it allows us to imagine ourselves in a better place than we are in this very moment. I'm just getting over a flu. I feel a bit sluggish. But breathing and moving with my yogic movements helps me develop a sense of possibility. All right. So with that, we'll go back to, I'm going to move into sitting at the front, but we are centered and we're sitting focused, and we're just going to do a little bit of movement right off. So I'm shaking my arms a little at the side, and I'm going to lift them up and stretch them straight up, and then I'm going to open them out with my palms up and turn my palms down and lower them down. And now I'm going to do the same, lifting my palms up. Inhaling and then exhaling with my palms down. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. And you can this time we're going to make our palms come up with our arms straight. As we come down, we're going to press out through the heels of our hands. We're pressing out, pressing. And our wrists don't get this kind of stretch often because we tend to be typing on a keyboard or doing other things with our wrists in the opposite direction. So we're just pressing out through the heel of our hand. It might feel some tension in your fingers. Just wiggle your fingers a little. Press out through the heel of your hand. Good. And then exhale them down. Okay, and we're going to just lift our shoulders up and rotate them back. Lift our shoulders to the back, rotate them front. So we're lifting our shoulders moving our shoulders to the front, and then we're lifting up, and then we're feeling our shoulder blades move together in our back as our arms move back and down. And we're going to move them forward, lift them up, and then our shoulder blades are coming together and we're moving them down. So we're inhaling, and then we're exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Good. And we're going to move the other direction. So we are going to lift them up from the back and then forward and then down and lift them up in the back and forward. And once again, our shoulder blades are coming together as we lift our shoulders up and then around. Good. And now we're going to do just an odd little, this is like a little, one shoulder up, the other one down. We're going to pretend we're dancing. You can even move your feet if you like. Have a little fun. Okay, good. And good. Now, sometimes when we move our shoulders, our neck gets a little cranky. So let's see if we can do a little bit of movement in our neck. So we're going to start very slowly. And we're just going to drop our, you'll drop your left ear to your left shoulder. And I'm just going to leave it there for a moment. And I'm going to look up to the corner, to the upper corner of the ceiling. So I'm looking up really into the arm of my glasses. And I'm just looking up there with my eyes, focusing. That's a drishti, that's a focal point. So we're using that as a focal point and we're breathing here, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Good, now we're lifting our neck up, our head up, and then we're going to drop it to the right side and we're going to look up with our eyes to the drishti that is in the upper corner of the ceiling. And we're inhaling and exhaling and maintaining our drishti, looking up, moving our eyes into the corner. And now we're going to bring it up. And we're going to do that the other way, a little bit faster now. We're looking up, and then our head is coming up, and we're dropping it to the right side again, and looking up, and then to the left side, and looking up, right side, and left side. Good. Now we're going to rotate our head towards the left, and just look over our shoulder. So our gaze is looking over our shoulder. And then the other way, over our right shoulder, our gaze is looking over the shoulder and back again, and back again, and back again, and back again. Good. And all the time we're inhaling and we're exhaling. Good. Inhaling and exhaling. Now we're going to drop our chin to our chest and we're going to look up to our third eye or between our eyebrows, whichever is a more convenient place for you to imagine. So we're dropping our chin and looking up here while we're dropping our chin. And as we lift our head up, we're looking at our nose. And we're dropping our chin, looking at our third eye or our eyebrows. And then we're lifting our chin up and dropping our head back and looking at our nose. And dropping our head down, looking at the space between our eyebrows. And then looking up and looking at our nose with our head back. Good. And now down. Okay, now we're just going to rotate around very slowly. So we're dropping our chin, looking to one side, and looking to the right side, lifting up, looking up, and then around. And I'm going to go the other way, gently. It's not a big strain. And then back the other way. Our necks are actually quite delicate. And you want to be careful if you have any neck problems to monitor this movement. We're just going around one way and then around the other. Good. Okay. I'm rolling my shoulders again, and I'm going to give myself a little shake here just to get myself located here again. Good. Now, I like to do, I'm going to move this back a little bit because I need a bit more view of my feet. So I'm going to just flat my feet on the ground here, just my toes. I'm going to lift my toes up, and then I'm going to spread them out, and lift my toes up and spread them out. Lift them up and spread them out, lift them up and spread them out. And then I'm going to lift them up, and I'm going to spread. First, I'm going to drop the big toe, and then I'm going to try and drop the other toes down. Now, it's difficult to do that, but let's pretend that we can. I'm dropping the big toe down and the other one's down, trying to separate them out. Big toe, and then the other one's down. Big toe, and then the other one's down. Good. And then the little toe, and then I'm moving back again. There we go. Okay. Good. All right. Now I'm going to press my toes into the floor, and once again I'm sitting, forward on the chair, not on the front of the chair, but sort of in the middle, I guess. But I've got lots of balance here. I'm not going to fall over or anything. And I'm pressing my feet into the ground, and I'm not letting my feet splay out. I'm making sure that I'm pressing directly into the ground, and that my foot is directly over top of my toes. And I can lean forward a bit and put a little bit more pressure on it. Now it depends on how your toes are. I can move them back and put even more pressure on them. So you decide, if you don't want to put too much pressure on, you can leave them out in front. And then if you want to, you can bring them back further, and you can lean forward and just put some more pressure on it. It's a very good thing. It really helps you in terms of walking, in terms of functional movement, et cetera, et cetera. And for older toes and potentially arthritic toes, it's really quite useful. Now, I'm going to put a blanket on the ground. If you have a rug or something, that's fine. But I'm just putting it here because I'm going to turn my toes under, and this is really difficult for me. And I haven't been doing it for a while, so it's not good. So I'm turning my toes under and pressing the top of my toes into the ground, like the top of my feet, actually. So I'm actually at sort of the base of my toes, pressing them into the ground. And that really does stretch out my feet in a way that is uncomfortable. But here, even in my discomfort, I can focus on my breath. So we're returning once again to concentrate and focus on our breath. And you don't want to feel terrible pain, but discomfort can be okay, because it can in fact challenge you to move beyond where you are, and you might be in a bad place with your toes. So I'm just pressing into them. It's just uncomfortable, but not horrible. And good. And now I'm just going to bring my toes out. I'm going to stretch my toes. I'm going to put my toes the other way again. I'm going to lean forward. And then I'm going to, once again, go with the tops of the feet. There we go. Very good. Okay, now that's enough of that. Now I'm going to stretch my toes out, and I'm just going to squinch my toes up, and I'm going to stretch my toes out and squinch my toes up and stretch them out again. Squinch them up, stretch them out. Good. And I'm going to rotate my ankles out, and then I'm going to rotate my ankles in and out and in. Now, all the time I'm trying to sit up, I'm actually holding on to the bottom of the chair so that I can really feel myself sitting up. So that once again, my chest is up. I feel that puppeteer. I'm not slouching. I'm really getting a real sense of uplift in my upper body. Okay, and I'm pressing my toes out, pointing them, and then I'm pressing through my heels. Pressing my toes out, pressing through my heels. Pressing my toes out. And this time I'm pressing through my heels, but I'm also pressing through my toe mounds, which are right here, so that I have an arch in my foot. So I'm really pressing out like that. Good. All right. So I'm going to move this away. And our feet should be in pretty good shape. Our hands, we'll just do some movements of our hands, our spidery hands here. And we can play the piano, moving out, moving in, play the piano with our hands. Very good. And we can make a fist with our hands, wrap our fingers around our thumb, and we can press hard, and then we can flick our fingers out, stretching them really strongly and stretching them from the base here. So you can see that my palm actually has, we can really feel that hollow of our palm because we're pressing out the mounds of our fingers, and we can press out the heels of our hands too. There we go. And then we're going to bring them back in, and we're going to make a fist with our hands. We're going to stretch them out, and then we're going to stretch our fingers out and just keep them stretched out. We can even wiggle them straight here. Now you may have some, I have a little arthritis in my thumb, so this movement feels quite good. It's a bit irritating, but it's very good. And now I'm just going to flick my fingers. And when I'm teaching, sometimes I talk about how we can flick off all our cares this way. We can just flick, I won't flick them out to you, but I flick them out here. And whatever is bothering us, I'm just flicking it off. Good. Okay. Now I'm just shaking my arms out. I'm going to just wiggle my head a little bit gently, my shoulders, and really feel myself settling again into my chair. So we've done some work with our hands. We might want to return to that a little bit later. We're going to clasp our hands here, and we're going to stretch them out in front, and then we're going to lift them up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to press our hands out again, like that. Once again, we're going to clasp our hands, lift them up, and stretch them out. Okay, now we can try this. See if you can do this. I guess it depends on your chair. I'm going to clasp I guess this isn't good for me. I have to move forward. So I'm just going to clasp my hands, stretch them, and then see if I can move forward with my arms behind me. So I'm just stretching forward. I'm stretching my shoulders back. And I'm just going to stay here for a moment. I'm going to feel my chest expand here. And I'm pressing into my feet. And I am lifting up now with my chest opening. But my arms, I'm trying to maintain this movement. Now, if you can't clasp your hands, you could clasp the back of your chair and open out your chest like this, which is perfectly great. Okay, so we're just really opening our chest out here. And now we're coming back. And we're going to do that one more time. We can clasp our hands, we can move forward. You can clasp your hands the other way with your fingers the other way if you like. And then we can come back, open our chest. We can clasp the back of our chair, really open our chest. Feel a wonderful back bend here in our upper back. This would be like if we were on our hands and knees on the floor. This would be a cow pose. Good. And now we're going to bring our hands to our knee, and we're going to curve our back in the opposite direction. So we are working to just feel that sense of opening in the back. And we're going to inhale into our back body. We can imagine the ribs in our back body opening as we inhale. And then as we exhale, inhale, exhale. Now this time we're going to move. We're going to move with our inhalation. We're going to open up our body and lift our collarbone up. And then we're going to close our body again and curve it in on ourselves. And we're inhaling. And we're exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling. And while we're doing this, you might want to imagine that you're looking at that space between your eyebrows, at your third eye, that your drishti is a kind of inner space. As we you can have your eyes closed, and we are exhaling. And here we are inhaling and opening up and imagining an inner space here. Exhaling and inhaling. Exhaling and inhaling. Good. Okay, we'll move our shoulders a bit. My shoulders are stiff. I haven't been moving for the last few days. I've just been recuperating. All right, so now we are, once again, I'm going to put my feet on my blocks so my knees are at the right angle. And I'm going to take my, left hand and put it on my right thigh. And I'm going to take my right arm behind my chair and just feel myself turning. And I'm looking over that shoulder, looking over my right shoulder with a twist. So the bottom of my body is stationary and facing the opposite wall, but the top half of my body is opening. While it's opening, it's lifting. We're turning from the waist and we're lifting up. We're feeling the tip top of our crown chakra moving up as we move around. Good. And now we're going to come back and just sit here. Just feel for a moment how your body feels. Mine feels a little bit off center. So I'm going to turn the other way. I'm going to put my right hand on my left hip, and I'm going to put my left arm behind my chair and really feel that twist. Once again, I could feel my lower body stationary, my upper body turning. Good. And now I'm going to come back. And I'm going to rotate my shoulders. We'll do that one more time. This time, I want you to take your right leg and cross it over your left. And you can either just cross it on over your left thigh. You could cross your legs at the ankle, or you could make your legs into a figure 4. So this is a hip opening movement. And so my right leg is in a figure 4 on top of my left. And I'm putting my left hand on my thigh. And I am once again turning in that direction. Okay, so we are, and I'm kind of pushing that thigh away, pushing that thigh away so that I do get I get some sensation in my hip. I'm not allowing that hip to move back. I'm pushing it really in the other direction. Okay, and here we go. We're going to go back, and I'm just going to have a small twist to this side. Now with this leg, since we already have it here, I'm going to invite us to move forward and to just, now if your knee is sore, then don't do this. You can just have the legs crossed, or you can have your legs crossed at the ankle, or you can have them straight up and down. I'm going to leave them here. And I'm just going to, with a straight back and my leg in a figure 4, I'm moving my spine forward in a straight back as far as I can. And then when I can't be straight anymore, I'm just going to fold over. And you can hold on to you could hold on to your lower leg if you like, and go flat if you can. Now this is a really big opening in your glutes in the back of your right leg. And it's a little bit of an opening in the front too. So here we go. And now we're going to go back, and we're going to go forward again. And this time you can let your hands fall down here. Good. And I'm going to come up, and then I'm going to go forward. And come up and move forward. Good. Now I'm going to lift this leg up like it's a baby. And I'm going to, depending on what you can do, I'm putting it, the foot in the cradle of in the crook of my elbow, and I'm going to lift that up. Now, if you can't do this, that's okay. do whatever you can. You can hold on to your, you can hold on, you can just continue to move up and down with your legs crossed if you like. But this is a very good movement for your hip. And all it is it's allowing your hip bone to move in the socket a little bit. You're just moving it around in circles here. And now I'm going to just very easily let my foot down, put it down. We're going to work on the other side. So I'm going to come around here and show you from the front here. All right. Feet are on my blocks. And I'm lifting my left leg up. And I'm just going to put it here and feel what you can feel it really opening your leg is externally rotated here. And so it's a hip opener. Now, if you're doing this, it's also a hip opener. And if you're doing this, it's also rotating the hip a little. So you decide where you want to go. All right, here I go. I'm going to start here. I've got a straight back and I'm moving straight over my leg until I can't any longer. And then I'm just going to curve over. And I think I will just rest here for a moment. Now, this is quite a large stretch in my glutes, and it doesn't feel terrific, I have to say. But if it's just uncomfortable, that's okay. If it's screaming pain, come up right away. And of course, if this hurts your knees, don't do it at all. All right, and now we're going to come up. And we're going to go over with a straight back again, and then curve over our leg. And then we're going to curve all the way up, all right? So we're inhaling as we go down, and then we're curving over and exhaling as we come up. And we're inhaling straight down, curving over, and exhaling as we come up. Good. Now we're going to do our twist. We're going to take our right hand, and I'm putting it on my left thigh, and I am putting my other arm behind me so that I'm really feeling that lovely lift in my spine from the top of my head and the turn from my waist. So the bottom half part of my body is remaining stationary and facing the front. And I'm looking over, and I'm using that drishti with the eye. I'm looking far into the distance over my shoulder. And I'm coming back. And then I'm going to do a very small twist to the other side just to give myself a little bit of balance. Good. And I'm going to put myself down. Now we're going to do a couple more twists to this side because we did some to the other with both of our legs down. And we're just going to put our hand on our thigh, our leg over the back, or arm over the back of the chair, or you could hold on to the arm of the chair if you have an arm in your chair. And I'm twisting around here. Good. And now I'm coming back. Good. And I'm going to do it one more time. Okay, so we're going to just move from the waist, leave the bottom of the body stable facing forward, and we're twisting around to the side. And we're inhaling here and exhaling and inhaling and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. Good. And now we're coming back. All right. So we've done some twists, we've done some forward bends, we've done some back bends. We're going to use our legs a little bit here. Now, if you are finding your lower legs are not that mobile, you can go back to doing some of our twists. And you can add some movement in, so you can do the upper part of our body. So I just have my legs wide apart here. And I'm just going to use my arms, stretch them out, And I'm going to have sort of airplane arms here for a minute and going back and forth with airplane arms. Now, if you have difficult with your balance, you can hold on to the chair if you like. You don't have to feel off balance. Good. Now we're going to curve our arm over and look up. And then we're going to come back here. And we're going to curve our arm forward and we're going to look up. And once again, curving our arm over and looking up. There we go. Curving our arm over and looking up. Good. And now we're going to stretch one leg out. So this is a bit like warrior two. So I'm going to stretch my leg out and I'm going to turn my back foot in a little. And my front foot is facing forward. And I'm going to just feel my thighs rotating out here. So, and I feel the back leg is straight. And I'm going to imagine there's a little space in the back of my knee. Now, some of you may hyperextend, in which case you don't need to do this. But most of us, we can really afford to really straighten our leg. And as one of my teachers has said, there's not a lot of light that sees the back of our knee sometimes because we are always sitting. So we can really feel the stretch in our back leg and as our thighs are rolling out. And we are just lifting our arms up straight and sitting up straight, feeling once again that movement up. So this is warrior two. And then we're going to extend, we're going to put our hand on our hip here, and we're going to really shift ourselves forward, just our waist on the diagonal, and stretch our arm out. And we can drop our forearm to our thigh and then lift this arm over. So this is warrior, this is a extended side angle. And then we can see if we can we turn our chest up a little and look up under our arm. So this is a lovely, we've done some twists already, we've done some extensions, and we've worked with our neck and our shoulders. We should feel that we can actually hold here for just a moment. So do come out of it if it's too much and go back into it. That's perfectly legitimate. You are the author of your own body movement. Good. And now we're going to come down. And once again, we're going to stretch our arms out. Good. And we're going to then now just move to the other side so we can rotate this leg in and rotate this leg in. Once again, we're going to straighten that back leg. And we're really feeling we can lift our toes up and feel the arches of the inside of this back foot rise up. And we can lift the toes up in the front and feel the arches of our front foot rise up. Good. Now we're going to lift our arms up. We are feeling, once again, our collarbone moving up. Feel a beautiful sense of extension moving out, the energy moving out both our hands, and the rotation of our thighs outward, both our thighs outward. And we are just feeling a sense of, let's call it liberation. All right, and once again, we can turn and look at our front arm, and then we can stretch out, we can hinge at the hip, stretching out, looking at that arm, and then dropping the arm down to forearm and lifting that upper arm over on the diagonal and looking up. Good. And we're just going to stay here for a moment. And as I said, if you find it too much, come out at any time. You can stay in any of these postures. You don't have to do this side angle. You could stay in warrior two and just keep moving in and out of it. And now we're going to draw that top arm back. And this time, we're going to draw that arm down the back. Let's slide it down the back. And we're going to curve our top arm up and over and look up. This is called gentle warrior. And we're going to do a little bit of a flow here. So we're going to go back into, drop our arm down to our thigh and bring that arm over on the diagonal. And then once again, we're going to move in an arc with that upper arm, drawing the arm down the thigh, lifting the front arm forward and curving it up and over and looking up. We'll do that one more time. We're going to do that one more time. Here we go. Looking up and over on the diagonal, feeling that beautiful stretch, and sliding it back into gentle warrior. Very good. All right, and we'll try that on the other side. We can do that part. So we'll go back on the other side and stretch our arms out, hinge at the hip, drop the arm down onto your thigh, lift the arm up on the diagonal, really feel yourself open out into a long stretch from fingertip to back, to the outside of the back foot that's grounded. And then once again, we're going to lift that arm up and over, slide it down the back, and bring your arm over into a gentle warrior. And our chest is looking up here, as well as far up as we can. Of course, it's very difficult because this arm is moving back. So it's one of those, yoga is really all about oppositions. So once again, we're going to drop our forearm down, our arm over, and we're looking up. We can look up at our fingertips if we like. And we're going to draw that arm down, slide it down the back leg, and over, look up. Our drishti really is looking at our palm of our hand. And once again, we're going to come back and we can look up at our fingertip here, our drishti, or focus, our concentration. And we're breathing here, inhaling and exhaling. And we're going to inhale as our chest opens. And then we're going to exhale and inhale as our chest opens. And then we're going to exhale. Okay, good. And now we're going to come up. Very good. Rotate our shoulders around. And we're going to just tap our feet, tap our hands, feel a bit of jiggling here. Always feels a bit of quite good actually to jiggle a bit. Okay, we're bringing our legs in and we can wiggle on our chair. We might feel a bit stretched in our hips. Those seated standing poses are a challenge. And right now I'm going to start to cool us down a little bit, and we'll do just a couple more cat-cows, just a few more. So I want you to hold on to the back of your chair and near the bottom and open your chest out one last time, or maybe it's not the last time, and do a nice back bend. Back bends are very good, as my teacher Pat said the other day. It's good to end a class with opening your chest in a back bend because it leaves your heart open for the rest of the day and you can meet the world with kindness. I do really love that thought. And we'll also do a little bit the other way, just a counter movement to give ourselves a little bit of a stretch the other way. We're going to open once again into a back bend, our heart open, meeting the world with kindness today. And then this time we're going to come back with our arms and we're going to embrace ourselves and we're going to massage our shoulders and give ourselves a pat on the back for spending some very good time together, healing ourselves, tending to ourselves, connecting up our mind that tends to be distracted, focusing, connecting it with our body and with our heart. And we're going to open up again and bring our arms in with the other arm on top, tapping our shoulders, rotating, really rubbing our shoulders, feeling the heat of our hands. And we can take off our glasses for a moment and rub our hands together, making some heat. And we can just rest them on our eyes and our forehead and feel the energy that is warming us. Good. And we'll try that one more time, rubbing our hands. And you can try this little experiment, which I quite like, which is you can bring your arms out and then you can bring them in and feel if there's any resistance of energy or not. Okay, we're going to rub them again. We'll put them on our eyes. What a beautiful sensation that is. So with that, we'll lower our hands. You can put your glasses aside if you like, and put them back on. And I'm settling back into my chair. I'm just getting a sense of where I am right now. Where am I? I know I'm at home. I know I'm in my chair. But where am I in terms of my affect, my emotion, my mental focus, my breathing, my body's sensations? We should feel quite different than we did at the very beginning of the class. And I want us to just return to that field I was talking about, surrounded by trees. It's a very safe place, very quiet place. The trees are full of birds. We can hear them chattering. And once again, we're focusing on being present, on that union. Yoga means to yoke, and we're yoking the mind and the body and the heart as we inhale and exhale. And with every breath, I'm inhaling and I'm exhaling loving kindness. And I'm inhaling and I'm exhaling loving kindness. You can continue breathing as I dedicate the merit of this practice to our own health and well-being and ongoing transformation, and to the health and well-being and ongoing transformation of all beings in the world. Thank you for practicing with me. I wish you a beautiful day ahead. Deep bow. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can write to me. And I'm going to turn the recording off now.